What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Flyin Style podcast. I am your host, Matthew Mitchell, back with my co-host, Steven Maslij.
What's up, Matthew?
We are back for one more big episode because our team made it back to the big game to get that Lombardi trophy against the Chiefs after absolutely walloping the Commanders 55-23 in the NFC Championship. Real round of applause.
It feels so real to be in this situation,
doesn't it?
I mean,
we're only 4 days out now, and it still feels like it just isn't real, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, it was a long, hard season. Still had some classic Philadelphia moments in there with some jump scares and some downside moments, but this Eagles team has truly been dominant for the greater part of this season after the bye week, especially, and have really put things together. They've found get through the playoffs all the way to the final finish line, and they're going against the big dogs, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's gonna be an interesting one, Matt. What do you think?
I'm so excited, dude. I mean, this Kansas City team has basically, if you look at on paper, have only lost one game all this year. They've lost to the Bills. Yeah, they 15-2, but they lost their last game with nobody playing. This is going to be a hard matchup. I mean, however you slice it, however close these Kansas City games are, how much you want to blame the refs, blah, blah, blah. This is a team going for a three-peat. And yes, on paper, we are the more talented team. And I know we're going to go more into this breakdown and we're going to go over everything, but we are better than this team.
You tell them, Mads.
It's only one thing that is holding us back.
And what would that be?
And Andy Reid. And
Gosh, I thought you were going to say Jalen Hurts. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
Okay, we clearly know that.
This is true. This team is actually in all seriousness, this team is actually really terrifying. They're going for a three-peat after an essentially 17-1 season. It's as scary as it gets. They're the top dogs of the league. They have been for 3 straight years. They've got the best quarterback in the league and the best coach in the league, and they do a damn good job of playing in clutch moments and just winning when they need to win. They aren't pretty. They're a lot like the Eagles in the sense that they don't always make things look pretty. They actually statistically had a much worse season than the Eagles had. But game in and game out, these guys just managed to pull away wins by any means necessary. And in a way, it never really felt fraudulent because of who they are, because of who they have on their sideline, who they've got, helming the team, and all the leaders they've got over there, including, guys like Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. So this team it's the top of the top. It's the battle of the big dogs now. And I feel like the Eagles fall into that conversation after, going to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years and 3 in the past 7. And it's they're really starting to become one of those upper echelon teams in the NFL.
No, dude, we are elite. There's a couple differences between this and the 22 season. One being our defense. 2 being we have a god playing running back for us.
That's an important one. Don't forget that one.
Which one, our defense or the god behind behind Jalen?
Objective.
He's 30 yards away from breaking the total season record with including playoffs and regular season for yards, passing Terrell Davis, which I did not know Terrell Davis is like 1 and 3 on this list, by the way.
Yeah, I know. He put together 2 of the best seasons of all time, which is pretty crazy because he's really not often talked about as like even a top 10 running back sometimes. So, which he should be for the record.
But regardless of that, we might have the best running back season ever to exist. And I mean, I'm excited. Let's go before we get into the Chiefs. Let's recap this amazing game. Probably the best game we played all year as a whole in the conference championship of the Commanders.
That is for sure. I mean, you never want to see a team 3 times, but for the Commanders, it couldn't have been any worse. It was a complete domination from top to bottom by the Eagles. It had some close moments, through some of the game, but it really never felt that close. In the fourth quarter, they massively pulled away, and it, even got a little sad at the end there. But we all knew that, going into this was a young team with nothing to lose. They weren't expected to be in this position, and they willed themselves into this spot. But I think you and I both felt that they never really had that opportunity to get past like a juggernaut like the Eagles are right now. It just wasn't their time yet, and we're going to see them pretty often down the line. I feel with the future that they have with Jaden Daniels over there and what they've got brewing. So definitely still a respectable season for the Commanders. Way better than I ever would have expected for them this year. But complete domination by the Eagles. And, the key stat through and through this entire playoffs has been the turnover ratio and just making sure they take the ball away. They did a really good job of forcing turnovers, 4 turnovers for the Commanders, and they all came at key positions, key times. And Eagles capitalized on all of them. I'm pretty sure they scored touchdowns on all 4 turnovers, which was incredibly impressive. So it was definitely a game of opportunity for the Eagles, and they took advantage of every second of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was straight domination, like you said, putting up the most points of the season by far. We ran the ball. I mean, Saquon's first play of the game was just absolutely electric.
That was so electric, dude. That was that's when you really it really culminates how insane of a season this guy has had on this entire year. Like, to just have that one play home run hitting, opportunity every time he touches the ball, it's so impressive. And it was so electric. It's so demoralizing for a team to line up for the first play of the championship game and let the other team score a touchdown. Like, how can you possibly feel confident after that happens? I just can't imagine. So sorry, I wanted to put my piece in about that, but it felt eerily reminiscent of the Patrick Robinson interception in the championship game back in 2017. It really felt like the second that happened, I was like, oh, it's going to be a long, long day for these guys.
No, this whole thing kind of feels eerily reminiscent of it. I mean, I know we had the first seed, then we still had a bye, but the Rams game felt like the Falcons, and I'll be honest,
100%.
we were winning. It just came down to the wire, kind of, sort of. Still had time if it happened, but it's this season as a whole it's been awesome. The first 4 weeks weren't so awesome. Just recapping the whole thing, dude. I can't believe if we look back at week 5 when we go into the bye,
everyone was scared.
Kill everybody, kill this team. And it's wow, that's what we went from. But the maturity from Sirianni has been incredible since then.
It's been a roller coaster of a ride this year for fans, because you've seen a lot of down times, a lot of high times, a lot of growth from not just coaches but players. And we saw what happened last year after losing a Super Bowl. You go into last year, you start 10-1, everything feels great and dandy, and then you have maybe the worst collapse a team has ever had in NFL history, potentially. It was pretty awful how drastically they turned a bad page. And the camaraderie wasn't there, the maturity wasn't there, the coaching wasn't there, the play wasn't there. Everything fell apart. Then you go into the start of this season, and it feels like some of that's starting to leak into this year, and you're starting to feel like, oh no, here we go again. This might not be right. And then suddenly they hit that bye week, and they a flip switched, and or a switch flipped, and I had to replay that in my head a few times. I was like, that didn't sound right. Anyway, the switch flips, and suddenly guys seem like they're growing up. Coach Sirianni really felt like he turned a new leaf and really started to understand the players and buy into the system. And, the guys started to buy back into him, and we're starting to see growth from the young guys on the defense. Saw Cooper DeJean make a big impact once he stepped in on defense. He saw Nolan Smith make a big impact stepping into the defense. Jalix Hunt steps in after Brandon Graham goes down and, fills in the shoes. Oren Burke steps in after Nakobe Dean goes down and fills in his shoes, doesn't make mistakes. Tyler Steen comes in These guys, like, it's always the next man up with this team, and they've been ready all year long. They've been well prepared. They've been well coached, and they've had the right mentality in terms of what it takes to get there. And every single game, it's been one goal, one goal, one goal. And I'm even still hearing that up to this week. Nothing has changed in their mentality, their demeanor. Everything is still business as always, as it has been all year. And it's just, I literally have gotten to a point where I can't even picture in my mind them even with a chance of losing. And boy, would that be devastating if it ends up that way. But this team has really put together a season that has made me supremely confident in being an Eagles fan. And this is probably the most dominant team I've ever gotten to watch. And so long as they don't, put the ball into the hands of Mahomes and Andy Reid and put the game into their hands, this shouldn't. They're so good. Like they shouldn't be that close. I hate to even say that it shouldn't be close, but I think this could potentially be a 2-score game, and we'll get into that later. But wow, has it been a season?
I mean, if you want to get into it, if you want to go down to the end, I had a question I've been arguing with people all week, and it's kind of a proposition that I posed to a lot of people. So there's a minute left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather be up for kicking off the ball to Patrick Mahomes, or would you rather be down for and receiving the ball? 1 minute left.
Down for receiving the ball.
It's not even close to you?
Not even close to me. Not even close to me, truthfully. And I know how good this defense is, and I know how it goes, but I've watched the Eagles twice this year in situations where they could give up a game-winning drive, absolutely just let them walk down the field. Truthfully. As good as this defense is, they do the same thing that they've always done in Eagles history and play prevent defense when they're in a close late-game situation where don't let the big play happen, keep it in front of you. I get that. I get it schematically, but I just not only would feel so uncomfortable with Patrick Mahomes being in that chance, but the fact that I've watched it fail for us twice this year and almost fail in the Rams game, I would rather see the ball in the offensive hands and just let, our playmakers over there do their thing.
I have to agree with you. And it's crazy to say that because 1 minute left. It's just Patty. It's just the scariest part of this Chiefs team. Like, that's what
I've seen Patty with 13 seconds go down the field and score. There's no point. And it's the same way I felt in that 2017 Super Bowl with Tom Brady getting the ball back with 15 seconds left or something like that.
Yeah. And
it's terrifying that he has earned the right to be the top dog in the league, and when the top dog's got the ball in his hands, I'm not comfortable. So as good as this defense is, as much as I have faith in what they're going to do on Sunday, and how much I have faith that they're going to prevent this from becoming a game where a penalty can change the outcome, I think that Mahomes having the ball with a minute left and a chance to win is terrifying. I can't get around that.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't come down to that. And I forced myself to rewatch the 22 Super Bowl highlights the other day. I don't know why I did it to myself.
I've heard a few people talking about how that actually made them feel a little bit better.
It made me feel a little better. Not really, because I think our defense will be better than
I think there's a few reasons that we should feel more comfortable going into this game than we did in 2022.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I think that I feel like I've heard mixed reviews on this. I personally felt like their defense was better then than it is now. But I've heard mixed reviews that some people think this defense is better than that one. I don't really know. Regardless, I think that I think they've got a worse defense than they did in 2022. We have added Saquon Barkley to our offense, which hasn't changed drastically at all otherwise, outside of losing Jason Kelce, which you replaced fantastically in Cam Jurgens. And on the defensive side of the ball, you're not dealing our forte going into that Super Bowl. Our defense was legit that year, but our whole thing was the D-line. And, I don't like to be one to make excuses, but I'm going to throw this one out there that slippery field definitely at least took an edge off of what we had going for us with our defense and what our specialty was. I understand that both teams had that, but our D-line was a lot better than theirs was, and it kind of evened the playing field a little bit. Going into this year, I feel like the difference in the defenses is massive. And it's not just in the defensive line and the playing field and whatnot, but the coverage is really going to be the difference maker. And I feel like our secondary is way better than it was in that 2022 Super Bowl. So I feel like you're walking into this with a better offense, a better defensive line, and a better secondary. And I feel like the Chiefs have only diminished, slightly, but diminished since then. I feel like they looked more dominant back then than they do right now. So point being, I just feel like we should feel confident going into this game compared to what we went into in 2022. Not to mention now we have experience being here.
I'm way more scared in this game, and I don't know why, but there's something in my stomach. I just need to be more scared. I was scared during the 2018 Super Bowl.
This is a good thing. This is a great thing. For you guys that don't know Maslij, when Maslij is scared of something, it's fantastic news. If Maslij comes over to your house, cocky and excited and celebrating before the game,
like last week,
that was the first time I've ever seen it work out.
I was about to say that's the first time that's ever gone well for me, ever in the history of the world.
If Maslij comes in cocky before a game, just be scared. You might make it out okay, but be scared. So I'm happy to hear that you're concerned. But go ahead and give me your reasonings.
No, I mean this team is just very well coached. And this is the only thing I can say about the Chiefs. They just are very well coached all year. And they capitalize on your mistakes. The only way that we lose this game is if we hurt ourselves. And that's truthful. And I know we've been saying it all year, but even one turnover. 22.
I was going to say 2022, we played a near perfect game and made two big mistakes, and it killed us.
It's just this. That's what the Chiefs are. They will take advantage of that one mistake you make and make it last the entire game. Like this could be a low scoring game. I could see it. The Chiefs haven't been as prolific on offense as we are accustomed to. To be strictly honest with you, they put up the most points that they had all season last week. They haven't been prolific all year. They scored 30 twice, before last week. Or no, 30 twice. And it was against a crappy Panthers defense and a crappy Buccaneers defense. I'm not super scared of this team. It's just they're coaching and Patrick Mahomes. That's the only thing I'm scared about. And I know Chris Jones gets all pro. How is he even first team all pro? I'll be straight honest. I know he's a very effective guy on the field, but he hasn't. I'm not trying to be a
first team all pro. I thought the only D tackle was Cam Hayward.
Was it not him? Was he not first team all pro? I thought he was.
I don't think so. Not this year.
But regardless,
I'm pretty sure it was just Cam Hayward.
Well, yeah, I hope you're right. But ridiculous, nonetheless. Why did I think he was first team all pro?
I think he was last year.
Regardless of that, it doesn't fall. 8. Sorry. Yep, first team all pro. Yeah, I was right. Isn't that crazy?
You were right?
Yeah. I think it's 2024. Yeah. Isn't that insane?
At the D tackle or a D end?
D tackle. I see AP1.
One D tackle got.
I know it's ridiculous, but Pro Football Reference. I thought I saw it. I know we're doing this right now. This is funny.
Yeah, I know.
But it's ridiculous. I mean,
I need to fact check you. Oh, all right. Okay, that's where I was wrong. I didn't know there were 2 D tackles chosen. I thought there was 1 D tackle chosen. It was also Cam Hayward. I thought that it was just 1 D tackle per All Pro team.
Regardless, he has 5 sacks on a year. He doesn't really. He's been in everybody's face, but he hasn't been that prolific as I would say Jalen Carter. But regardless of that, George Kalafis, okay. They have a bunch of guys that they rotate in for run defense and like just guys that you never hear their names. Just they come in and out. Spagnuolo is a great defense coordinator, but I just really can't be scared of this team. And I know what they're going to do. You already know what they're going to do. What every team tries to do is stop Saquon. And we have the stat that I sent you that 18 straight games for the Chiefs, they haven't let one rusher get above 100 yards. And that is changing on Sunday. That is 100% changing on Sunday. Saquon is going to get – I don't care how many touches he needs, he gets. It doesn't matter because as long as the box is collapsing, there's going to be more space for Jalen to work with outside with AJ and Devonta. Goddard guts this team. Smitty guts this team. He guts Spags. I just don't see how I know how we lose this game, but I don't want to say it. It's just our defense can step up. I don't see how we lose this game, Matt.
I can see the nerves coming out of you, and I love it. But hey man, I'm right there with you. I can't even envision the loss, and that's overconfident as hell of me. But it's just the way I feel right now, and I don't want to change the mojo. I'm happy with where I'm at, and if devastation kicks in, devastation kicks in. But I feel like we're going to be celebrating after Sunday, and I think this Eagles team is just in a much better position to win this one than they were in 2022, and I think they're going to put themselves in a position that they're not going to let the Chiefs dictate the way the game goes. I think that they're going to put this out of reach just enough that you're not going to get, like I said, a penalty that changes the outcome of something, or a Patrick Mahomes drive that could that could end the game. I feel like they're going to keep them away from that, and I just think this team is. I think it's going to be a 10-point game, straight up.
I know. I'm kind of just. We're supposed to be doing a podcast, and I'm just sitting here like crying. But it's. You think? How do you see this 10-point game going?
How do I see this 10-point game going? Truthfully, maybe I'm a little overconfident with the way I felt the Commanders game went, but I feel like you're going to see a similar game to the Commanders. I don't think you're going to see like the kind of blowout that you did at the end there, but I just see us kind of controlling the game throughout in the run game, opening up the passing game through it, and playing good defense on the other side of the ball. I see us slowly chipping away at them until it's a 10-point lead, and it kind of just puts them out of place. And I'm just going to go straight into my score prediction. I think it's going to be 31-21.
I like it.
That's where I stand. I've stood on it. I've had that 10-point deficit in my mind since we won the championship game, and that has not changed. And I see us scoring at least 30 points. So unless we get 30, 31 or more, I'm sticking with that 31-21 because I think our defense is going to play good ball on the other side. But I can't say I expect them not to score any touchdowns. So, 31-21 is where I stand.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think my scenario is going to come true of 1 minute left. I don't know why.
It's the Super Bowl. It's it's obviously possible. I have no doubt.
Fun stat. That's a stupid stat if you really think about it, but it's a fun stat. The last 15 winners of the Super Bowl have all scored last in the game.
Oh wow! How about that?
And I mean, it's a stupid stat because obviously, like, if you score more, you're gonna win. But it is kind of interesting that like there hasn't been like a throwaway touchdown at the end that just ruined that stat, which is stupid. Also, the last 10 games that a team that has had a bye versus a team that hasn't had a bye, the team that hasn't had a bye is 10-0. But it's a stupid stat because it's very skewed.
I mean, it is a stupid stat because it's well past the bye. Like, it's not like the bye is affecting them at this point. But like, I understand that. Like, I think that the only thing you can put into that stat is that the team with more wins in a row has more momentum going for them. Like, you know what I mean? But
that works. Yeah, it's both silly stats. regardless, I think it's going to be a
Maslij, I need SGP picks right now. Give me your Super Bowl parlay right this second.
My Super Bowl parlay?
Yeah, give me a quick four-legger.
Four-legger. Well, my main pick for the game is going to be something that I don't love, but just because I was on it, I think Jalen's winning MVP of this game, and it's no shot to Saquon. I hope Saquon gets it. Honestly, I just really think. I mean, it's a quarterback award. First off, second off, I think Jalen's going to have to have to step up in this game. I think the Chiefs are not going to let Saquon beat them as much as they can. And stopping Saquon is a tall task for anybody, but I really think Jalen's going to have to step up in this game, and I really think he does. Even if it is 250 yards, just not turning over the ball, I think that's more important than yards.
I think it would look beautiful if we saw, a 250-yard, 2-touchdown game from Jalen Hurts and no turnovers. That would be nice.
I think that's it. It sounds kind of stupid, but I don't
think it sounds stupid at all. I think if they play with the same kind of rhythm that they showed in last week's game, that won't be a problem.
I mean,
because it all comes down to the rhythm. I felt like Jalen specifically looked like he had a ton of rhythm in that Commanders game, and he just looked like pinpoint. Like he looked like he was focused. Like he looked like he was comfortable. Like a lot of times we watch Jalen throw for 130 yards and 15 passes. He looks like uncomfortable. Like last week he looked comfortable, and I have a feeling we're going to see that comfortable Jalen again. For a weird reason, I feel like he plays more comfortably in the big moments, but maybe that just happens to be the way it's played out. But I'm excited to see how he does.
No, I really think it's going to be a Jalen type game, and I hope Saquon rushes for 300 yards. I really do. I hope he does. I just really don't see it happening versus Kansas City. I think this is just going to be a tough game. It's going to be hard-nosed, and they're just going to send everything. They're going to try to make Jalen make a mistake, but he won't. And this is where I think Jalen solidifies himself as, okay, I can be talked about a top 5 quarterback. I can, because he is, and we've talked about it, and I don't think this is all on Jalen and whatnot. But he has to play well and has to play turnover-free football.
He does. It matters for him, too. It really matters for his legacy and what people are going to, feel about him moving forward.
I mean, his screensaver at the beginning of the year, which everyone jokes about, but it was literally him in the confetti of the Super Bowl in the Chiefs colors. Like, it's insane. Regardless of that, this city needs this Super Bowl. We need this Super Bowl. The Sixers hate us. They can't make it out of the second round. The Phillies are a bunch of stupid, silly people that I hate. Losing to the Mets. They lose to the
Diamondbacks. Lose
to Houston. They cannot bring anything to the city. 22. We were there. We need our revenge. We need our revenge, and we need it now, Matthew. This city will burn to the ground in happiness or sadness, and I want it to be happiness. But it will be happiness because we are beating the Chiefs 34-30, and I don't care. It's going to come down to our defense stopping Patrick Mahomes, and we're all going to be crapping our pants, and we are going to see Josh Sweat come in and just demolish Patrick Mahomes.
You don't think it's going to be another Brandon Graham, a final hurrah for Brandon Graham? One last strip sack.
I like that better, actually. Brandon Graham coming for a strip sack to win the game.
Wouldn't it be incredible?
Brandon Graham is going to probably play very minimal snaps, but he's going to play the meaningful ones because he's not letting. I know he's not letting Nolan Smith go out there unless Nolan Smith's having a great. He's going to go out there for the meaningful snaps in the fourth quarter. I mean, you can't. What are you going to do to Brandon?
I think he would.
You're going to have to shoot him. You're going to have to literally shoot that man if you don't want him going out there rushing Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
Gosh, he fires me up. He's going to lose his arm after this game.
He does fire me up, man. I feel like he brings an extra light to the table, dude.
Just him playing, just his presence, if you're wearing a uniform with pads on, is something that's incredible.
It's destined, man. This Eagles team is going to walk into New Orleans Sunday night, and they're walking home with a Super Bowl. I'm telling you now.
We need it. And I think this is just – you guys just listened to about 25 minutes of therapy. Just me kind of just talking to myself and Matt, trying to help, but nothing's helping. I had notes.
It's an emotional week, man. It's really it's hard to to bottle up to really understand what emotions you're even feeling. There's scared, there's happy, there's excited, there's like I don't know. There's a lot of mixed emotions going on. So I totally get you. Like it's for some people, I don't even know that it's fully sunk in that there's going to be a Super Bowl on Sunday with Philadelphia in it, but it's here and it's real. And man, am I excited. I wish we could just skip 4 days and just get right to it because I want to see this team walk in there and, shut the lights off on them. I feel like we talked about how this is similar to 2017, that nail biter in the divisional round, down to the last drive, championship game in Philadelphia, hottest team in the playoffs coming in here, and we absolutely wipe the floor with them. Then you walk into the Super Bowl against the top dogs of the league that have been running the league in their dynasty, and you beat the big dog on their stage, outplay them at their game.
They need to, and and I don't want to hear the narrative. You know what I've been hating all this week, and I understand it. But the narrative of, I hope the Chiefs don't get the refs on their side. The refs. Why are we making excuses already? Like, I feel like that's so just they're playing a game. Like,
unfortunately, it's always going to be sour in the back of our minds that holding call at the end of the game in that 2022 Super Bowl. I feel like it still haunts everybody. It really does. Because
as the referees, they don't want that. They don't want that. The league doesn't want that.
Yeah, I get it, but you can't say that it doesn't seem to happen a lot for the Chiefs. I mean, I'm not even saying that what happens to the Chiefs like isn't penalties. Like I'm not even going to go that far as to say that like they're getting phantom calls or anything like that. But I am going to say that I've never seen a team, and I don't even know if it's purposeful or not or whatever. But I've never seen a team get bailed out by the refs so often in a big moment. Like every time it happens to the Chiefs, it's in a game-changing moment. And maybe that's just a crazy coincidence that seems to happen often. But it's frustrating. And it's not even to say that it's not a penalty, but it's just that it's frustrating to see them get bailed out all these times, And hopefully it doesn't happen. But I truly wouldn't think of it as an excuse thing. Like I feel like it's more of a haunting curse in the back of people's minds. At least for me, that's how I feel about it with what happened at the end of that game. Not giving Jalen a chance to, not giving Jalen that 4-point difference and a minute left chance at the end of last game.
Yeah, I mean,
because even if they don't call that holding, like who's to say the Eagles win that game?
Yeah, exactly. And that's very fair. But I'd rather be deprived of Jalen not being able to get there. At least
exactly. It hurt for all momentum of the game to be shut down at that moment by a flag. It's such an exciting game to be essentially ended by that sucks.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's scared there's a chance it could happen again. And, I think everybody can truthfully say they just want to watch a football game and not have the flags affected. And, I hopefully that doesn't have to become an excuse later on. But I wouldn't call it excuses yet.
I mean, what I want this game to be so badly is the Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl. Just the Chiefs don't score a touchdown, and
it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
They would just win 31-9.
Have Mahomes running for his life the entire game, nowhere to go, nothing to do with the ball.
That would be awesome. We need to get hands on Patrick Mahomes. Keys to the game: hands on Patrick Mahomes. Just hit him, Jalen. Just murder him.
Don't let him get his little skimpy runs out of the pocket either. He's not that fast. He looks like a dad running around in the pocket, and somehow he gets away.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about phantom calls, just touching him after he's out of the pocket, which is ridiculous.
He does a really good. Unfortunately, he does a good job of flopping. It's really hard for the refs not to throw a flag in the moment. Unfortunately, but he does a really good job of going down at the very last second to make it look like he, got hit late. he's really a pain in the butt with that. But
yeah, Aaron Rodgers had his hard. Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck had a hard snap count. Mahomes is acting like it's like
exactly.
It's ridiculous. Both are always absurd. How Aaron Rodgers always got those extended plays where they're like, "Oh, yeah, here's your flag. You're everyone's blocked, but you still get a free play."
Yeah, exactly.
But regardless, I mean, I really think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a higher scoring game than people think it's gonna be. I was just seeing Vegas had it at like 48, 49 and a half.
Yeah, it's a weird like situation because you obviously think in the Super Bowl like these teams are probably going to play their best football, and I feel like I could obviously see it going high, but like based on the trends of what you've seen from both teams all season, like I think the Chiefs average like 21 points per game, and the Eagles only let up like 16 points per game. And the Eagles only scored like 26 points per game. So it's like, neither team has a history of being high scoring, but I see every reason why you expect it to be high scoring because I think it's just when the stakes are when you're at the end of the road, like you're leaving everything on the line. So I'm kind of with you on that. I just have a feeling that the Eagles defense is gonna outshine what people think they might.
No, dude. What else do we want to get into here?
That's pretty much it, man. There's not a whole lot more to be said. I mean, it's. I wish we got to be on Radio Row down in New Orleans this week and get to chat about it with all the people down there. But there's not much more to be said, man. We've seen from both teams what they're capable of, what they can do. We've seen how they match up. The Eagles, as far as we've seen in this era, are 1-1 against this team, and it's going to be a close matchup. It's been every time, and I don't expect things to be super different this time. I think my confidence is telling me otherwise, but I probably shouldn't listen to that because this is it's the trophy, it's the big one. It's everybody's putting everything on the line and putting it all out there, injury or not, no regard for themselves. This is it. So I'm really excited to see how this goes, But man, I'm confident that we're going to be celebrating on Broad Street on Sunday.
I flip and hope so. Matt. I really do.
Sure, man. And while we're bringing this to a close, I do want to say to anybody that's been watching our videos this year and has been along the ride for for this season, thank you guys for being here with us. We appreciate you, and we couldn't be happier to have you guys with us for this incredible ride that we've gotten to witness this season. It's been up and down, like we said earlier. It's been a roller coaster, but here we are, and it has been absolutely incredible. So thank you guys, and we will still be coming back in the next couple of weeks, giving our recap of the game, win or lose, and talking about the Eagles' future. Make sure you tune back in because we'll be talking about I don't want to talk about it yet because it's too soon, but we'll be talking about the Myles Garrett news that broke the other day and how he's connected to the Eagles. We'll talk about the potential loss of Kellen Moore, but those are both stories for after this game is over and what we have going on moving forward. But again, thank you guys. We can't thank you enough. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a lot going for us. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to click that like button in the corner. And like I said, stay tuned with us. Subscribe to the channel. We'll have news and updates for you and keep you guys occupied while you're at work, while you're at home. If you just want something to listen to, feel free to tune in. We will be here for you guys. So thank you. And man, let's go get that Super Bowl. Let's
bring it home, baby.
Why not us, man? You got anything to say, Maz?
Go Birds!
You heard the man. Thank you, guys. Go Birds. Let's come back with a Super Bowl.